Hi, and welcome to KSI. My name is Kim Sproul, and I'm here to show you the best tips and tricks in the screen printing industry for vinyl, screen printing, and embroidery. I'm here to help you have a profitable and successful business. So let's get started. Today we're going to show the basics of doing a sleeve print with white ink on a dark shirt and using a flash process. So I already have my palette set up on here, my sleeve palette. You can buy sleeve palettes or you can make your own depending upon the type of press that you have. I have one that is an Antec tracer unit, so I've bought one that actually goes with that unit. And so I'm going to show you now how to load the sleeve. You simply use the top shoulder seam as your line-up point. So I'm going to, and some of the sleeves don't have a nice crease in there like that, so if that's the case and they don't, you're going to have a little bit more challenge with it, and you have to be very careful with that. But I always use my center seam as my line all the way down. So if you pull the sleeve out like this and take your shirt, pull the sleeve over the palette and down. And if you line up your shoulder seam in the center of your palette, you should have a good line-up point there and you should be on target. Pull your sleeve and stretch it out, nice and neat. Make sure you don't have any creases on there. And then you're going to be ready to print. Now, one thing that I haven't done here and that I'm going to have to do is I forgot to put adhesive down. If you don't have adhesive down when you're printing, especially when you're doing a flash curing, you're going to have to hit this garment more than one time with your ink. So when that happens, the garment can come up like this and it'll cause it to double image. So you're going to have adhesive down. So I'm going to put my adhesive on. And there's different kinds of adhesives. I've happened to use one that is for flash curing as well as regular curing, only because I don't want to have to try to keep several different types in my shop. So I just use one main adhesive. So anyway, I'm going to pull this off again, put some adhesive down, line it back up. And sometimes it's a good idea once you put your adhesive down just to tap it and make sure that you don't have a lot of excess on there so it doesn't come up through the shirt and leave a bunch of goo all over the shirt. Pull it back across the sleeve palette. And sometimes it's a little hard to line up once you have the adhesive on there, but after you've done one or two of them, they start getting a little easier. You just get the hang of it. Make sure it's nice and pressed down tight, that there's no seams or anything in your way. I have ink in my screen already. So I'm going to take and pull a nice pull across the sleeve. And pull one more. Now, I have some inconsistency in the ink, and as with that inconsistency on there, that's going to show. So I want a little bit better consistency than that. And actually what I should have done is probably heated the palette first. So the palette's been sitting here and it's cold, so sometimes heating your palette ahead of time will give you that ability to get rid of that inconsistency and that pull. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one more time, a little harder. Bring my flash cure around, and this flash cure unit is not quite big enough to be able to cover this whole area. So what I'm going to do is just kind of slide it back and forth a little bit. One of the things in screen printing that you can do is you can improvise. A lot of times there's situations where you don't have the ideal equipment or you don't have the things you need, but you can improvise. You can save money and you can actually get through a job with no problems. So now I want to flash tack this, which means I don't want to cure it completely. All I want to do is make sure that it's just tacky to the touch, and then I'm going to pull another screen print across of it. and then you have a nice white, excuse me, nice white bright print. Now if you don't flash, you're going to have a weak print. So this would be the equivalent to if you were painting on a wall and you were painting, like say for instance you had a gray wall and you were trying to paint white over that. If you just took one stroke of white and went over your wall without a primer or without a second coat, it's going to do the same thing. So that's why we always want to flash. You want that nice sharp bright white print on your dark garments. So that's why we do this. And so I want to thank you for coming by our site today. If you want more tips and tricks on this, go to ksiprint.com. And also, if you want to stay tuned, after this segment, we have all this nasty adhesive that's built up from all these t-shirts that we've been doing. So this palette, we're going to show you how to clean this nasty palette. So thank you and see you soon.